Alrighty, hey everybody, it's your boy 1 Foot Wyatt, and welcome to your favorite D-tier channel. We're hanging out in the American Wild West today, checking out glitches in Gun, the video game. And for the first time in one of my glitch videos, we have our very first glitch right at the main title screen. As you can see now, the title screen's functioning as normal. So this is what you're supposed to see, of course. However, one instance when I booted up the game, for some unknown reason, the game made the location shown turn super low poly in some sort of culling effect. This should not happen at the main title screen, but it did, and now we're treated to this low poly barn. I'm assuming it's because the title screen's taking place in the game world, rather than as its own separate entity. I think Twilight Princess's title screen did something similar, and that has its own variety of glitches. Before we get into the actual meat of the glitches, I have a quick movement technique to go over that'll help you with delivery missions and the like. During the Pony Express missions, for example, if you're sprinting with your horse and maintain the horse's speed, hit the jump button and dismount button almost at the same time, hitting the jump button slightly before. If done correctly, you'll launch off your horse towards your destination at the speed of a horse sprint. This is incredibly useful for saving times in missions, or just getting the shopkeepers or inside buildings quicker. Here's a few examples of this movement technique in action. Alright, this here is a mouse spinning glitch, and I'm pretty sure it speaks for itself. Obviously, mice, I'm saying that wrong on purpose. Obviously, mice are not supposed to move like this, let alone spin around like a swing set. But this is a funny glitch nonetheless. Moving on. Alright, here in Dodge City, we can actually clip inside this white mercantile building with our horse. But not from the front, as you can see. Head around to the back of the building and come to this corner of walls. Walk into the wall until half of your horse clips through, then start walking towards the right of the building. If done correctly, you'll get pushed inside the building with the horse, sometimes even behind the counter, which you can't normally get behind. And even better, if you're quick, you can dismount your horse the second you clip through the wall, and from here, you can actually walk in behind a second building's countertop. This building even has a back room that we don't see much of during normal gameplay. For infinite health, head to the left of the teepee at which you're given hunting missions, and we can spot a building in the distance. Approaching this building, we can see from a hole in the wall that there's an infinite health pickup. Well, how do we get to it? Head along the patio to the right, jump on the spout sticking out, and slowly inch your way through the wall. Careful not to fall down, but walk forward and boom, you can drink enough whiskey to pickle your liver. For our next little glitch, near the east corner of the lake, there's a wall that we can clip into that I found. Find this junction of walls, now repeatedly sprint and jump, and at the peak of your horse's jump, jump off your horse. If all done correctly, you'll get stuck into the wall like so, which if you zoom into first person, sometimes we can see cougars trying to chase us through the mountain. That's kinda terrifying, actually. Alright, for our next glitch is actually a way to get back to the tutorial area of the game. Back near the Blackfoot camp, we can actually find a rock face in which we scale down during the tutorial. This time, however, we're going to jittity jank our way up thanks to our trusty steed. From the right side of the rock face, sprint and jump like mad until you just make it up. And just like that, we're back in the tutorial area. Even then, we can go back farther still, again by spamming jump in the right corner of this ledge behind us. Back here is as far as we can get though. However, there's a big ass boulder we can clip into, so, and there's that at least. Next up, we got another building we can clip into. This one I believe is somewhere in the Badlands area of the map, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Head up to the right side of the building, and quite literally just walk in behind it and dismount. Boom! You're inside the building. Alright, this is one of the big boy glitches for the episode, and it's an out of bounds glitch with two awesome outcomes. One gets you out of bounds, and one sends you hurtling through the air across the map. So the first thing you need to do is to take the ferry from Dodge City back towards the Blackfoot camp. And immediately upon disembarking, make a sharp left turn and head to the cliff in front of you. Sandwich yourself between the corner of the river and the cliff. In this position, you need to spam your trample button and slowly move to the right into the cliff face. This is what happens when you do it incorrectly. You get launched up in the air and die. Don't do that. To get out of bounds, you'll want to watch for your horse to slowly start creeping forward and through the actual cliff wall. If done correctly, you can clip completely through the cliff, now free to do some out of bounds exploring. It's pretty barren, no denying that, but this is still cool to see the area from this side. We can even see a part of the map unloaded being over here. Here's the real kicker of this glitch, however. We can fly with our horse. Just after we clip through the cliff wall, hang a right when the area opens up slightly. You should ride right through the cliffside. From here, start spamming jump at different angles, and with any luck, you should be flying across the map on your horse. Now, we're actually flying so fast that we whiz by Soapy and his gang, and fly so far out of bounds that we can see the entirety of the game map in one shot. As well as, we end up stuck on top of the skybox itself. How nuts is that? There might even be huge speedrun potential for this. You launch up incredibly high, and shortly after, the game snaps you to a lower altitude. At this point, you can actually steer your horse in the air, possibly guiding you to different areas of the map. Here I do just that and make it back in bounds. I just happen to be above water and drowned. Alright, and for our next glitch, it isn't anything crazy, so we won't spend a lot of time on it. Right beside the spot with infinite whiskey is a small part of the rock wall we can clip into. Walk into the corner with your horse and start jumping. You can get warped up on top of the rocks too, but there's nothing to do up there. So we're back on the Cougar Mountain that we clipped into the side of earlier. This time, we're near the summit. When you get to the top, head up the same hill that I do, and you'll find this weird shadow, transparent looking tile, kind of just floating there. If you look through this tile underneath, and look at the foliage around you, you'll actually notice that it removes all of the leaves, even from the out of bounds trees in the distance. I have no clue why this is here, but this is really cool. Next up is a way to clip inside the bunker. Near where you find the wild bison roaming, you can find this mining bunker. Normally you can't get your horse inside because of an invisible wall. However, if you position your horse in front of the entrance and fire your weapons nearby, you can actually spook your horse inside, letting you now ride your horse inside the bunker. That being said, this is pretty difficult to do, and the payoff is not really there. You can't really do anything, and I found no way to actually clip out of bounds further in here. So this is just kind of a cool thing you can do, I guess. And for something that's actually cool, there's actually a way to clip underneath the lake in this game, and it's really quite simple. Head to the lake and come find this large rock you can see beside me. It's near the mountain that was featured a few times earlier in the video. Now with your horse, ride on top of the rock and drop to the rock just below you, hugging the wall to your right when you land. Now, just start sprinting and jumping towards the lake, and you should eventually launch forwards, landing underwater. Now being under the water, we can wander pretty much under the entire lake section of the map. There's this little cottage which we can look inside of. We can also see underneath the train tracks on the east side. And even see the entire nearby mountain from below. On top of that, you can actually use the wild horses to climb up and out of the lake, saving you from being stuck. Plus it looks goofy as hell. And for good measure, here's what a horse looks like from outside of the glitch. Alright, I have two more smaller clips to show y'all before we get to the last major glitch of the video. This smaller one being a small train car you can clip into at Magruder's Mine, just after you've beaten the game. Come to this train car and spam your trample button like before in the corner between the two cars. Turn to the right as you do so, and if successful, you'll clip right inside. The next small clip is directly behind the train car we were just at. Come to this shed and walk in behind it. Again, spam your trample button, leading to the right as you do so. With some luck, you'll clip inside the shed. And for our final glitch of the video is a way to clip back into the final boss room with nothing but our horse. Presuming you've beaten the game, head to the very back of Magruder's Mine. Here, you'll find a door that can't be opened or blown up. That's fine, because we're going to head to the left side of the building instead. And I'm sure you know where this is going. Do the fan favorite trample clip, and I'm coining that now, by spamming your trample button and leaning to the right. If done correctly, you'll be inside the first room, leading up to the final boss area. This would be cool enough, but this glitch goes way deeper. And that's where I have to say, the rest of this glitch isn't for the faint of heart. It took me literal hours to pull off this next clip, and it isn't even the last one. Plus you need your horse, or you won't get any further than the first barrier without him. The way I finally pulled it off was by coming to the barrel left of the junk barrier here, and backing my horse up in behind it. And with my horse facing the corner, I kept jumping and dismounting until I got more height, and eventually, I got pushed through the barrier. Next was a matter of spooking my horse through the barrier, keeping my bullets behind the horse so that he was getting spooked towards me and not away. And after enough trial and error, I was lucky enough to have my horse clip through the barrier as well, joining me on the other side. First thing to note, riding is a bit janky, as clearly you're not meant to have a horse in here. You can head down the mine shafts, but they aren't very special, so I'll skip most of them. They kinda just lead to dead ends anyways. Regardless, we can ride Magruder's mine in its entirety, albeit with a couple more necessary clips along the way. The next one being this pile of boxes and crates. I managed to clip through this barrier by spamming the trample and jump buttons together, jumping towards the middle of the pile. I got really lucky and managed to phase through the crates. Along the way is a few more mine shafts, as well as the big circle room with a variety of mine shafts attached. And just after this is our final pile of debris we need to clear, and this one was almost as bad as the first one. This time, I was finally able to clip through by spooking my horse forward through the debris, then spooking him back towards me just enough that I can mount him and dismount him on the other side. That actually worked, and I was able to continue towards the Lost City and the final boss room, horse included. There's not much to see in the boss room that we wouldn't have seen in the final fight. But in case you made it down here yourself, you can get back up from the right side wall. And just before we end the video, there's one more little spot in this area that's worth showing. Back at the entrance to the Lost City is a pond we can drop down onto. And then even underneath via a small gap in the terrain. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. Thank you all so much for checking out my video today. I hope you liked all the glitches, and take care. See y'all in the next one, and peace.